everybody. We're going to go over the third law of attraction today, the law of action. I'm just going to give a few minutes just in case anyone's going to jump on. Can't find my bookmark. Hi, Trisha. My cat misses you too. What? Yes. Okay, so this is our third video. This is the law of attraction number 3, and we're doing the law of action. Hi, Lauren. We're doing the law of action tonight. So just recap. The first law, which is the law of divine oneness, everything is connected to everything else. What we think, what we say, what we do, and what we believe will have a corresponding effect on others in the universe around us. The second law is the law of vibration. Everything in the universe moves, vibrates, and travels in circular patterns. The same principles of vibration in the physical world apply to our thoughts, feelings, desires, and wills in the etheric world or in the spirit world. Each sound, thing, and even thought has its own vibrational frequency unique unto itself. So this leads us right into the law of action. You know, we hear it all the time. You know, if you want something, you know, put it out into the universe that you want something, or that you need something. I think in the first video, the example that I used for myself was, you know, financial difficulty, and I was doing my best to be creative with financing and make sure that, you know, all of the bills were paid. And this happened right after I left a job that I actually talked about in the second video. Hi, Tammy. Nice to see you. And I had to leave that job for my own sanity and my own well-being. But I took a large pay cut. And that, you know, creates a little tension. It creates a little stress when you take a $5 an hour pay cut. It's all absolutely 1000% worked out now. And the reason why is my glasses are so crooked. I'm sorry. I look like, I'm like a squirrel, so don't mind me. I was doing my best to be creative and get everything paid, you know, on time. And so when I put that out into the universe, that I was just giving them what I couldn't deal with. Pretty much very, very shortly after that, we received a rather large increase in our payment from the state. So I work in nonprofit. So our funds come from the state. And so we received a large chunk of money, which enabled a lot of us to get a large raise. I mean, I'm not talking 50 cents. I'm talking like a couple of dollars. So that was really helpful, and that basically increased the financial flow so that I was able to pay, you know, all of my bills every month. So it's pretty funny when you think about, you know, I went from paying a little bit here and a little bit there to I have more than enough money to pay all of my bills every month and have money to do things, like go out to eat if I want, or buy a shirt, or buy a purse. So that's kind of how the law of action works. You can't just put out into the universe that, you want something, whether it's healing, or, blessings, or, a new car or a house. You have to actually make that work for you. So you can't just say, I need a new job, and expect that job to fall into your lap. You would have to, if you want a new job, go out and fill out applications and send out resumes. You would have to sell yourself a little bit. Things don't just fall into our lap. But when you learn how to work with the universe and how to work with its laws and make them work for you, things will just sort of fall into your lap. Okay, does that make sense? So when we're talking about healing, because I know a lot of us are here for healing, you can't just say, I wish that this heart chakra block would be healed. And you have to actively work to heal that. You've got to do the inner child work. You've got to do the shadow work, because all of those things stop our hearts from healing. Okay, and it's a lot of internal looking within, and it's a lot of I've personally done a lot of like shamanic work, things like that. So you have to be active, and you have to be actively trying to investigate what's going on with you, and work with that. Sometimes when you're doing personal work, ugly stuff comes up. Because we're humans. We have feelings, we have emotions, and ugly stuff comes up. And you can't just take that ugly stuff and, put it in the closet and close the door. If it's coming up, it's coming up for a reason. There are many people here who can help you figure that out if that's what you need. So it's all really about that, looking within and seeing what's going on with you. When you're able to accept kind of exactly who you are, maybe why those feelings of jealousy come up, or those feelings to attack someone else over something that really just doesn't matter. One of the things that somebody one time mentioned was that they had a difficult relationship with their sister or their sister-in-law. And when she started on this healing process, she didn't like her. Everything was perfect, and they would go to, say Thanksgiving dinner, and the table was set perfect, and the food was, everything was just perfect. And for this person who told me this story, it wasn't about the person specifically. It was about her feelings of being inadequate. As a mother, as a wife, all of those things. So when she was shown someone who appeared to have everything going for her and everything on track, that brought up that insecurity and that jealousy. And so that's kind of why she didn't get along with that person. And we see that a lot. So when you're actively making those decisions and you're actively making the doing the work, those are the things that come up. And like I said, it can be ugly. Personally, I've spent many nights just crying, I just have to take these off, I'm sorry. And just trying to understand. And it really wasn't until I was just like, it's just who I am, it's just me. And it's okay to be that, and it's okay to feel those feelings, that I was able to move on from that. So while we're talking about the law of action, we want to talk about manifesting. And I know that there are a lot of people who everything just seems to come to them. Everything just seems to fall in their lap, whether it's winning money in the lottery, buying a scratch ticket, winning $20,000. You see these people and everything just seems to come easy for them. Life's easy breezy, like slicing butter, it's perfect. And what you're probably not seeing is that that person is most likely a master manifester, firstly. Secondly, you're probably doing a lot of hard work. You know, they're trying, they're putting it out into the universe that, you know, they need money for something, whether it's a bill or, you know, a class that they want to take. And so they're actively putting that out there. And so they're participating in the law of action by buying a scratch ticket. You know, I don't buy scratch tickets because I scratch a scratch ticket and it's a loser. So I don't waste my money. But my grandmother, the woman buys scratch tickets and wins money all the time. You know, she goes to bingo, she wins money. We went to Foxwoods a few weeks ago, she won money. And that's just her. She has it in her head that she's going to go and she's going to spend a certain amount of money and she's going to win a certain amount of money. And generally that's what happens. And some people have that and some people don't. I do not. You know, when I worked at the tanning salon and when I worked in retail, she would often come to the mall and she would buy scratch tickets and then she would run them over to my store and say, scratch this one. I'd be like, why are you giving it to me? It's going to lose. And it would always lose. If I buy my husband a scratch ticket, he loses. And that's because I have that in my head that I'm not lucky with the lottery. Now, if I was able to just kind of release that, because I didn't view it as a waste of money, which I do. I view it as a waste of money, which is why I'm not lucky. I would probably win. You know, my husband buys scratch tickets and he wins all the time. But in my brain, I'm unlucky. So it doesn't work for me. Okay? So you've got to make it work for you. Okay? You want a new car. You've got to actually leave the house and go look for a car. You can't just expect someone to just deliver a car to you. You know, if you're wishing for physical healing, you have to actually, you know, follow doctor's advice. And that's one thing that a lot of people do is they don't follow the doctor's advice. So, you know, if the doctor tells you in order to be healthy, you need to exercise, you know, you need to eat right, you need to cut out the alcohol. If they're telling you that and you're not doing that, there's not really a big chance that you're going to heal because you've got to actively participate in your health. Okay? And a lot of times when we're dealing with physical issues such as health issues, there is almost, I'm going to go with 92% of the time because there is a portion of it that is environmental. But 92% of the time, it's because of an emotional issue. So I have chronic sinusitis. So apparently I have small nasal passages. And so for me, when you have chronic sinusitis, it generally revolves around disagreements or arguments. And anybody that knows you knows that I'm always up for a debate. I have no issues debating anything. I'm able to kind of like stay in my zone and put forth my opinions. And because of, you know, working with the universe, I'm able to not take things too personally. But it happens because I'm human. And so when I do take things personally, I tend to get some sinus issues. So one of the things that I figured out through doing all of this, which I've been doing for, I think since the beginning of the year, specifically when I was told that this was a good idea for this group, when you ask for help and help is given, for me personally, if it's a medical issue, if I ask for help, which is asking someone else for healing or for Reiki, or whatever I feel I need, if my physical symptoms disappear, then I know that it's environmental. If my physical symptoms do not disappear, for me, I know that it's something emotional that I'm dealing with that I need to work on. Okay? And that's how it works for me. It may completely work differently for you. Again, we're all different. We're all unique. We all have our own things that we have to learn, our own set of steps that we've set out for us to take care of when we're here. So that's how it works for me. But again, I actively took the time to figure that out and to run those tests because I'm an investigator. I'm an architect, and I'm going to figure it out. I'm an architect. You know what I mean. You see my profile picture. Archaeologist. So that's how I figured that out. You know, I had a major headache that just kind of popped on one night. It was just like, holy crap, where did this headache come from? And I asked for healing. I went into our healing group and I asked for healing, you know, to help with what I was already taking care of, because that's important too. When you ask, you always want to contribute to your own healing, because we can heal ourselves. And so after I asked for healing, probably within, I don't know, maybe like 10 or 15 minutes, my migraine was completely gone. So I knew then that it was environmental, which at the time was, we had a storm coming. Yesterday, exactly the same thing happened. I started probably about middle of the day, started getting a scratchy throat, started doing a little bit of coughing, had a headache most of the day. We had a storm coming. I don't know that we ever actually got a storm, but the barometric pressure was kind of really off in the area. And so what I did is, I didn't ask for help, but what I did is I did like a neti pot, saline wash. I took some Alka-Seltzer and I went to bed because that's what I needed to do. And sure enough, today I'm 100% fine. So I know that that was environmental, because all of those steps that I took cleared up whatever issue I was having. Okay. So again, it takes a little bit of investigating as far as what you're trying to accomplish. But there's nothing out there that you can't actively work on. I mean, you see people all the time on, you know, on your news feed or on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever social network that you use. People complain about the same things over and over. Even with our spouses, we're going to complain about the same things over and over. We're going to nag them about something. When we actively participate in the conversation instead of nagging or blaming, you're going to see things change. You know, if you're always nagging about someone taking out the trash, they take out the trash, they stuff it too full. But maybe in my case, you don't personally take out the trash because you're afraid of the garage, because the garage door is broken. So what I did is I said to my husband, you know, can you just take the garbage bins out of the garage and put them in the backyard near the shed? And then I can take the trash out if it needs to go out, and then it doesn't have to get stuffed. And so it worked. You know, I don't have to ask him to take the trash out. You know, I don't have to nag him to take the trash out, because the trash needs to be taken out. Now I can confidently take out the trash and put it in the bin and put the lid on it, and it's all done. So that was where I was active in that. I took that active leap to take care of that. So if there's something that's going on, think critically, because we need to think critically. We need to think constructively in order to solve the problem. Okay, and then the universe brings everything back into us. Okay, does that make sense? I mean, it seems like it's a pretty simple thing, but it's something that people, I know something that I personally never even thought of. You know, my first interaction here in energy flows or in the circle, and somebody contacted me and was like, you know, you need to actively work to fix that. You know, you need to actively sit back and look at yourself, going back to the first law, the law of oneness, and only talking about, you know, yourself and your feelings and putting it out there for the other person and not making judgments and asking questions. That's what makes your relationships better. Okay, that's what makes your relationships last longer and be more dynamic. Okay. So I can't see who is still here, so I just want to give a few minutes if you guys have any questions. You can go ahead and pop those on there, and I'll see if I can answer them. And if not, that's fine too. Again, like I said, it does seem pretty cut and dry. Law of action. If you want something, you've got to make it happen. You've got to work towards making it happen. But again, so simple. It's something that we don't think of. So I know it's a short video tonight. Sorry. All right. All right, so I'll check in later and see if we have any other questions that pop up. I think that's about all I have tonight. We will do this again next week on Wednesday. Wednesday just happens to be the best night for me at 6 o'clock. So we'll work on the law of attraction number 4 next week. And in the meantime, don't forget to revisit the videos, revisit some of the posts that are on Facebook. Again, if you have a question, somebody else might have a question, and so hopefully that will be helpful for everybody. Just remember, not everybody feels comfortable posting the question, which is kind of why we have an open forum and have a, an openness, and you can post whatever you want at any time. Okay. All right, I am going to head out, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Enjoy your week.